A billion years ago, the universe of Guardians ruled the universe because they possessed the rings that granted them powers. Both willpower and fear were represented by rings. Fear belonged to terror because it could not be controlled, whereas willpower had infinite power. Guardians now create 3,600 sectors across the entire universe and use these to grow Green Lantern crops. They are facing a danger called Parallax, which is being held captive by a Green Lantern by the name of Sur. At the same time, a spacecraft carrying a few astronauts crashes into that planet, and the astronauts land there, where the supervillain Parallax is being held. Seeing him, those astronauts became terrified. By taking advantage of this opportunity and absorbing their energy, he escapes the captivity that the Green Lantern has placed him in. Following that, the film shifts to 1983, where Hal Jordan, a young boy whose father served in the military as a pilot, arrives. His father is called to test the aircraft of the military. Hal also goes on to encourage his father. Before boarding the plane, his father gives him his favorite jacket. He views his father as a hero, and when Hal's father boarded the plane before him, it burst its engine. Although it was difficult for him, he was doing his best to maintain control of his aircraft, and he soon managed to land on the ground while displaying courage. However, Hal was moving in the direction of his father so that he might save him while everyone else fled in fear. Meanwhile, the explosion occurs simultaneously, and his father dies in front of his eyes. After this incident, the scene changes to many years later, when Hal Jordan had grown up and worked as a test pilot for Ferris Aircraft. His company reveals to him that they have invented 2 robotic aircraft. Hal, who is aware of this, does not like it at all because he had the wise idea that without pilots, no one could control an aircraft properly. To demonstrate his point, he challenges the robotic aircraft and pilots his aircraft alongside those 2 robotic aircraft. They were both flying equally, but Hal flies his aircraft outside the atmosphere of the Earth, where his engine has stopped due to low air pressure. Hal is instructed to immediately return by the command center, but he ignores them all and keeps flying forward. While operating the aircraft, he notices his father's photo and remembers all the memories. In the meantime, the engine of his aircraft explodes, and when the pilot turns around to take a closer look, he destroys both of those robotic aircraft. His aircraft was also about to explode, but he escaped with a parachute just in time. Later, the aircraft's authorities, including the daughter of the CEO and Hal's childhood friend Carol, all taunt Hal together. Carol terminates Hal because of the explosion of the aircraft. Then Parallax, who had been released from prison, is shown. He reaches the Green Lantern named Sur, but he leaves that place, understanding the powers of Parallax. The creature attacks the Green Lantern, who immediately boards his spaceship and flees to alert the other Guardians. Due to Parallax's attack, Green Lantern was about to perish, but instead, his spaceship crashed into an earthly seashore. Before passing away, he says to his ring, "Pick your favorite, the boldest man." Now Ring moves in search of the capable man. In contrast, Hal is celebrating his younger brother's birthday with his other siblings, and the power of that ring is transferred into Hal at the same time. Unaware of the entire incident, Hal departs, leaving a gift for his younger brother. He is brought to Sur by the green light of the ring. Upon seeing his spaceship, he wanted to assist him. He brings him out of his spaceship, rescuing him there, but stops him there and gives him a ring. He tells him while indicating Green Lantern, that if he takes this ring and speaks before it, it will give him more power. Saying this, loses his life there. After learning all of these details, Hal becomes concerned and calls an aircraft worker friend. He reveals the entire truth, and they see military helicopters searching for Eastern London spaceships in the meantime. He drives away with his friend in a car, and military forces discover Aubin's dead body after him. They send his dead body to a secret government facility for research. A woman doctor is visible, along with a scientist named Hector who had also been called to investigate the dead body. When Hector was examining Aubin's dead body, he put his hand inside it. However, by doing so, Parallax's weak powers were dissipated in Hector, who was unaware of all of these facts. He continues to inspect the body. On the other side, Hal, who was wearing that ring and speaking in front of that lantern at his house, becomes irate because nothing was changing. He asks himself, why did he come here so far if it's not going to work? The lantern is lit, and its green light comes on. After being hypnotized, he starts describing the powers to himself. This incident allows him to possess the Green Lantern powers. As soon as the Green Lantern planet heard about it, its citizens began dragging Hal their way. He loses consciousness after traveling there. Afterward, research was conducted on him because he was the first human being to be a Green Lantern. Now everyone wanted to know why he had been chosen by the ring. When he regains consciousness, he is wearing the Green Lantern suit. There, he also runs into Green Lantern, who has a fish-like appearance and tells Hal the entire tale. He claims that Parallax intends to destroy the Earth and the entire universe. Now he leads him to Green Lantern's chief, who is delivering a speech there. Their chief considers Hal weak, and he leads him to the potent Green Lantern to check his power. Hal is being trained by the Green Lantern, who also informs him that anything is possible with the power of the ring. Moreover, he makes clear that larger objects are drawn to the sun by its gravitational pull. He fights there with the Green Lantern's chief, who severely beats him. As a result of him making fun of him over this, Hal becomes discouraged and decides to leave them all. On the other hand, Hector, who possessed Parallax's abilities, is seen to have the ability to read people's minds. He is now making fun of the people, and while Hector was changing, he was also keeping an eye on them. The Green Lantern's chief sends other Green Lanterns to kill Parallax as Hal departs, but Parallax uses his powers to steal the powers of everyone present before him, and he kills all of them. In the meantime, Green Lantern's chief flees, and he complains about Parallax coming to his Guardians. Guardian responds, it was difficult to obtain the fear rings, but that Parallax had obtained that ring from one of those Guardians. The chief of the Green Lanterns then says, we will have to make the fear ring to cope with the fear. The Guardians now support him and create one more ring of fear. Further observation reveals that the aircraft company receives their preferred contract and the party is arranged for its celebration. Hal and Hector were also at that party. Hal and Carol are speaking when Hector arrives, and he makes an effort to motivate Carol by going there. Hector's father stops him as he approaches and Hector storms out of the party in rage. His rage grows as he learns that it was his father and not the skills that caused him to put off that project. Now, Hector was acting so combative when he caught sight of the helicopter flying towards the party. Then he also controls that helicopter to crash it with his power. Hal transforms into the Green Lantern and lands the helicopter on the ground, turning it into a car just as it was about to crash into the crowd. All are rescued here, but Green Lantern's existence becomes prominent. Hector is now in contact with Parallax for the first time, and he gives him the order to kill the Green Lantern on Earth. Hector's face was gradually changing here, and as a result, he was imprisoned in a lab. On the other hand, Hal goes to meet Carol, transforming into Green Lantern, and Carol recognizes Hal here and informs him that he has left the Green Lantern unit. Knowing this, Carol yells at him, you had to seize this opportunity, nobody gets what you have got. With Carol's advice in mind, Hal steps outside. Then, his ring begins to glow, letting him know that someone is in danger. He goes to the laboratory where Hector was attacking his father. Hector knew everything about Hal, that he was a Green Lantern. Being envious, he fights with him there. Then Hector contacts Parallax and he orders him to destroy the world. Hector burns his father to death with flames and also attempts to murder the Lady Doctor, but Hal saves her. The fight is held between both of them. Green Lantern's planet can be seen on the other side, where the fear ring had been created and Green Lantern's leader was ready to face Parallax. Meanwhile, Hal comes there and he stops him from using the fear ring. Because that man will be transformed into evil who will use this ring. He begs them all to help him save the planet Earth, but the Guardian and Green Lantern's leader refuses. Now Hal goes alone to save the world and arrives at the location of the aircraft. Hector abducted Carol because he knows Hal has feelings for her and she is his weakest link. If Carol doesn't give the ring to Hector, he threatens to pour his blood into her, turning her into a replica of him. On this, Hal takes off his ring and gives it to Hector. He informs Hal that he was lying and that he will let go of Carol while wearing that ring. This ring prevents him from attacking when he does so. He informs him, this ring seeks the capable man himself, and this attack is reversed on Hector. He rescues her and picks up his ring. Then Parallax arrived on Earth because he was snatching other people's energies. He had become more powerful, and he also saw Hector as being useless there, so he snatched his power. Hal approaches Parallax to confront him, but they engage in a fierce fight. Hal was being defeated by Parallax in this battle, but Parallax enters Hal at this point and transports him far away from this world in space. Then he remembers the same principle. The sun attracts the bigger thing, and he moves there, taking Parallax to the sun from his bottom. He holds himself while appointing aircraft. While he was fighting, Parallax continued to pursue him without stopping. Hal uses all of his powers to throw Parallax in the direction of the sun. He had also become frail, so he began to attract the sun, but Green Lantern saved him by approaching there. They admire him and transport him to their world, where he assumes the position of leader. He meets Carol when he first enters the world and they immediately begin dating. In a brief movie clip, the former Green Lantern leader, Smestro, takes off his Green Lantern ring and puts on the ring of the Guardian. As a result, the scene where his eyes turn pale and he gains the power of fear is where the movie ends. Thanks for watching and take a look at next movie recap displayed on the screen.